Welcome to the Yak Chat, the ultimate podcast for the everyday angler. Whether you're paddling, pedaling, or motoring in the serene waters, or casting your line into the heart of bass territory, we've got your fishing fix covered. We're about to embark on an adventure that goes beyond the surface of the water. As we count down the minutes to launch, get ready to dive into the world of kayak fishing, bass angling, and the art of turning your kayak into the ultimate angler's haven. This isn't just about catching fish. It's about the joy of the outdoors, the thrill of the chase, and becoming the best angler and dad you can be. So, whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting your feet wet, join us on this journey as we navigate the waters of kayak fishing and fatherhood. Stick around, gear up, and let's cast off into another exciting episode of the Yak Chat, hosted by Bearded Dad Fishing.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. It's Jay with Bearded Dad Fishing, and welcome to the first official public showing of the Yak Chat, episode number 1. And super excited to kick it off. A couple weeks ago, we did a little soft launch only on our Facebook group called Kayak Fishing Dad. So if you're part of the group, appreciate you guys. If you're not part of the group, head on over to Facebook and check out Kayak Fishing Dads. We got like 15,000 dudes in there that are just crazy about fishing, kayak fishing, fatherhood, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys make your way over to the Facebook group. And we are streaming on YouTube, but also going to be streaming on your favorite podcast platforms as well. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the good ones. And this is an interactive show. So like I said, we're here for you guys live. So I want you guys to ask questions and say what you got to say, man. We're here talking, and we got a couple co-hosts with us, so super excited about it. And seeing what you guys want to know, seeing what all the experts got to say, because you guys are all experts when it comes to kayak fishing, right? So let's bring on the co-hosts. We got Lucas, aka the Outdoor Conquest, and Brian from the Michigan Fisherman. What's up, boys?
Hey Jay, what's up, man?
Lucas, what's up, buddy?
Yo, so if you guys aren't aware, these guys right here, they are 2 of the 3 moderators that we have on the Facebook group, Kayak Fishing Dads. And I've been rocking with these gentlemen for the last couple years. And they're also YouTube content creators. So they go hard over on Lake St. Clair. So that's big water, if you're unfamiliar. Big boy water, big boy territory, smallmouth territory, too. You guys get some tanks over there, man.
We do.
We get big smallmouth, muskie. I don't catch big muskie. That would be Lucas's territory over there. But as far as world class, yeah, smallmouth, muskie, those are the 2 big ones out on Lake St. Clair that everyone comes from, all across the world to go fish over here.
Absolutely. No, that's dope, man. So we're actually, as you guys know, we're talking this week about choosing the perfect fishing kayak. So I could only speak for us 3. We've been in this journey for fishing off a kayak for, I've been doing it for 4 years. You guys have probably been doing it, right? 4 or 5 years already?
Correct.
You've had a kayak too?
I think we've all been doing it about the same amount of time. It's like we all got it at the same time.
Yeah, and it's gotten a lot more confusing since I came on. That was 4 years ago. There's so much more in the market that's pulling for your attention. There's a lot more options now in the market. So I wanted to put this together and see if we can't start talking about how we untangle this mess of picking the perfect kayak, because there is no perfect kayak. I mean, it's only the right kayak for you, right?
Correct.
But before we jump into that, I want to show you guys, if you guys haven't seen the new video from New Canoe dropped, and they're dropping a brand new kayak called the U10, and that thing is a beast. So I'm really excited about it because, first of all, if you don't know, New Canoe makes the Unlimited, and that thing has a weight capacity of 650 pounds, which is absolutely bonkers. But that's a big kayak. It's a 12-foot kayak, 41 inches wide. So with this, they essentially brought it down to 10 foot 10 inches. It's still, I think, like 40 or 41 inches wide, and it has a weight capacity of 500 pounds.
That's
Absolutely
insane.
nuts.
Now, is that paddle only, or do they have a pedal drive or something you could install with it?
Well, and that's the thing I love about New Canoe. So it's made to be paddled. So it's a paddle only kayak, but they also sell the pedal drive later on. I think they call it the pivot drive. So it's something you can add it on there. They also sell their proprietary motor mount as well. So we'll be the reason I bring it up is New Canoe's killing it, and hopefully in a couple weeks we'll be bringing on New Canoe on the podcast to talk with them about why they made this and to talk to us a little bit about the features, what it has outside of what they're just putting out there on the press. So really cool, man. I'm excited to see that thing out there because that thing is a beast.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. Does it say how heavy that thing is?
If I'm not mistaken, it's like 75 pounds.
Okay.
72 pounds whole weight.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
I could probably still, I mean, it'd be tough, but I could probably still car top that. I think it's like borderline for car topping. So
at this point, I don't think I'll car top anything, bro. I'm spoiled with the trailer.
Well, I am not. I don't have. Yeah. I'm not spoiled with, so I'm still car topping that catch power I have. I car top. That's a little tougher than my last kayak, but I still, if I can, I like the car top because I don't have the trailer. I don't have the space right now.
Yeah. I picked up a trailer off Facebook Marketplace for $250, and I'll never load one in the back of the truck. It's just I thought I wasn't gonna like it, but man, it's a game changer. I wanted to just say something quick about that kayak you were showing. The only thing I really don't like about it is being that it's a paddle only kayak and you get nothing but essentially plastic and a seat, is that the price tag on it looks like it's, what was it, $1,600?
Yeah, $1,600.
Yeah, so that's to me, I mean, I'm sure it's a fantastic kayak, but for $1,600, it opens up a huge window of opportunity for potentially pedal drive kayaks. I think it's kind of lacking that, but until it comes out and see what it's all about, that's one thing that concerns me is a $1,600 price tag's a lot to ask for a paddle only kayak.
Yeah, no, it's definitely up there. I mean, there's few kayaks that are that expensive that are paddle only. I mean, I could think of maybe like the Bonafides are in that price range, $1,800 with no motor, no drive. So I mean, it's up there, but it's something I would give a shot. I was telling somebody today, I don't think I'd jump into a kayak that's less than 12 feet long. I'm a big dude and I'm comfortable. I'm in my autopilot 13 and a half feet. I mean, that thing is a freaking tank. So, but just seeing how big and how wide that one is, I would consider it.
Yeah. So like a 10-foot kayak, like I fished out of the Big Fish 108 for a year and a half. And I mean, for a 10-foot kayak, that was a nice kayak. But again, you know, that's right around 1,800 and you're getting a pedal drive with it. And, the thing with the 10-foot kayak is it limits your storage, and, that's tough. That's tough to have the bare minimum to be able to take with you because, especially tournament fishing, you're talking coolers and extra gear and rain gear and maybe an extra battery, like a tournament on Lake St. Clair, I may put on 6 to 8 miles.
True.
So sometimes like relying on a battery, sometimes it's nice to have the extra room just to take an extra one with you just in case. Because I'd hate to, although I've paddled the the Autopilot 136, I have paddled it and it paddles relatively smooth for as big as a boat as it is. But I don't want to have to do it. Like that's emergency only.
Yeah. So I mean, if any of y'all have the Autopilots, which I see a couple boys do, so I have the 136, and Lucas has the 136. That tank well, you can fit people
Yeah.
back there. I mean, it is
Yeah.
ginormous.
Yeah, a full-grown man could hang out back there. If you were to put like a lawn chair back there, then he could fish off the back.
Yeah, it's wild, man. So we're gonna get into a little bit of the conversation here, and about picking the right kayak. And like I said earlier, I'd love everybody's feedback as we're going through these. Let us know if you think we're missing the mark. Let us know if you want to add anything. So first question is, when you're looking at getting a new kayak, what's the most important factors that you're looking at outside of like the basics? So I'd count the basic as what your budget is for sure, your size of the kayak, the weight capacity, and whether you want a pedal drive or a motor or a paddle only. So outside of those four factors, what do you think are the most important factors to consider when you're buying a kayak?
So I guess I'll start. The main thing I think outside of your price range, like depending on what you're willing to spend, your number one thing should be what type of water you're going to be fishing. Now, a lot of guys fish rivers and specifically rivers only. A lot of guys are fishing small inland style lakes that, maybe not all sports, but you can use an electric motor. I guess it depends. It also on the size of the angler you are. Like for me, I'm a tall dude, and I learned that pedal drives just ain't for me. Although I really like the concept. I like the ability to rather than pedal, but dude, my legs are way too long. Like stretched out in the 136, like when I stretch all the way out, I mean my feet are probably 2 feet, a foot and a half from the motor itself, when I'm lounged right out. So pedal drive to me, I just kind of got out of it. So I would think you need to really focus on what type of body of water you're fishing, because there's dudes that are fishing oceans. You know what I mean? So figure out what type of water you plan on fishing the most, and then from there narrow your search down to affordability, different brands, that type of thing. And the possibilities and opportunities of different kayaks are endless, as I've learned. But I think knowing your body of water would be key outside of price.
Yeah,
and I'll jump on that too. I agree with the body of water, because if you are fishing very small bodies of water, you can get away with very small kayaks, in my opinion. Now, as long as the seat is comfortable. I have been in kayaks, not fishing kayaks, but just more of a recreational kayak that did not have those nice seats, just, the sit inside kayaks with the little, the little tiny foam pad that they throw in inside the plastic hull. And I'll tell you what, if you're getting a kayak like that and you're even considering something like that for kayak fishing, I don't think you're going to enjoy yourself. Because when I was in those little recreational kayaks, after about, I'm talking only maybe 1-2 hours, my back was killing me. I wanted to jump out of that thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Lucas. If you have a big body of water, like we have Lake St. Clair, I thought I could get away for a while there. I thought I could get away with the paddle kayak, but now I'm kind of starting to learn that I kind of need at least a pedal drive or a motor when I'm going out there. And like I said, comfortable chair. I also look at how I'm able to customize it. I like to have a nice open deck. So me personally, I don't like the pedal drive, because I really like to have that nice open deck on mine as well.
So you prefer to paddle or motor?
I prefer to either paddle or motor. That's the two I have. I have the Lifetime Teton 100. That's my very small paddle one. I have no problem paddling that around. And then the Pelican Catch Power 100. Still a short kayak. In fact, it's shorter than my Teton. It's only 9 foot 9 inches long, but it's wider, much more stable. And that motor is just so much nicer. Not just while you're out fishing, but I've noticed that the days following the fishing, okay, because I'm 41 years old, and when I'm paddling Lake St. Clair, it's not only tough that day, it's tough the next 2 or 3 days. Okay, I'm gassed. I'm done. I'm not usually fishing multiple days in a row if I'm paddling Lake St. Clair. It's just I can't do it. My mind,
Yeah.
My whole body is just aching. And I get headaches, and it really is. I noticed that once I went to that motorized kayak, I just, not only the day of, but I felt great the next 2 days after. It wasn't,
Yeah, no, for sure. And one thing I noticed as soon as I switched, and I skipped the whole paddle phase. I'd never paddled a kayak. I jumped right into my Old Town Sportsman 120 PDL. But like after a long day, 8-9 hours on the water, you hit the launch, you are wrecked, bro. Like I can imagine probably with paddling, it's even more so. But you are absolutely like smashed. Your energy's gone.
Especially especially the one thing, I mean, especially with paddling is, say you want to get a little bite to eat, or you want to remember to hydrate or drink some water. You never remember to do that when you're paddling. You can't be like, hitting a beef jerky or paddling and drinking a bottle of water, because you might take that sip of water and all of a sudden that current's pushing you back.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I always found myself getting dehydrated, not remembering to drink water. I wasn't snacking, so that was another thing. I'd have fun on the water, and I wouldn't realize how badly I hurt my body, like completely wrecked my body, until I got to the launch, and then it was just like game over for 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like, so Anthony just said, our trip to Gunnersville did things to muscles I didn't even know I had. Paddled the whole weekend. So Anthony, actually, he was on my team Bearded Dad, for the Knucklehead series down there. And we fished together. And I was on my autopilot the whole time, bro. He went equal distance to me. Like did the same exact routes, except he paddled the entire way. So I would not. Sorry, Anthony. You killed it, bro. I just wouldn't want to be you in a paddle. I'm bougie now.
It's definitely doable. Lucas and I have fished Lake St. Clair when he had the pedal drive. When I think he had the Big Fish 108 most of the time. When I had that Lifetime Teton, I could keep up with him, even sometimes go quicker. But I mean, I'm gassed, and Lucas was fine. I mean, his legs might be a little tired, but in much better shape than I was after the trip.
Yeah. Speaking about bougie, you got my boy Juan, aka Captain Hooks. What's up, baby? So I say, what's this balloons you got, bro? You guys seen that?
Did I do that, or did you guys do that?
I didn't do that.
What?
I don't know what happened. That was wild.
I saw that. I saw those balloons. I don't know what that was about.
He gave off a peace sign and the balloons went flying. Brian's got some he's got some tech we don't know about.
Yo, for real.
Let's see if it happens again.
I tried, man. It didn't do it.
No. That was a one-time thing.
Oh,
but
man.
So speaking, we were talking about, I said bougie, and then I brought up my boy Juan, aka Captain Hooks. So I say that only because he sees me in my autopilot, and I got to see him in his Hobie PA14. And I mean, I guess both can be considered bougie kayaks. But that one, I don't know. Hobie owners have a perception of being, pinky out type of thing when they're fishing.
Hobie owners got a cult, but so do Old Town owners. That's why I stayed away from 100%. It. But man, I tell you, I'm glad I joined the cult for sure.
100%, man. So I saw a couple people comment about transporting. I don't know if we touched on that yet, but that's a big thing to consider when you're choosing a kayak. I didn't think about it before. Like I had a pickup truck, so I just figured I'd throw whatever I have in my pickup truck. But if you don't have the luxury of having a truck, which most people don't, you got to consider a trailer or a rooftop. And I would not. I mean, I've seen guys rooftops on big kayaks, like the 106 Minn Kota. My buddy Hector rooftops his 106 Minn Kota from Old Town. I've seen people do it with 12-foot kayaks. That's just something that it's tough to do on your own, man. So if you're gonna get a big kayak, you got to trailer that thing or throw it in your truck bed, like. Yeah. No, it's nuts. But I've seen, people are intuitive and they find a way to rooftop by themselves a 12-foot kayak. Just not something, again, that I want to do after being gassed from all day of fishing, getting to the launch, and then have to freaking load it up on top of my car.
Dude, the trailer was the best thing, the best $250 I've ever spent, because I can literally drag that all my gear, leave all my gear on the kayak, drag it onto the trailer, back into the ramp, drag it on the trailer, pull it off the side, and then I can assess all the organized chaos that I got left on my kayak. Because that's what it is. When I get done with the day of fishing, I'm just surprised some of the stuff that's laying on the deck. I'm like, was I really fishing with that lure? Why is that laying there? And there's just like, when you fish smallmouth on Lake St. Clair, and Brian can attest to this, and Darius, he's in the chat, the smallmouth wreck soft plastics. So you're constantly like, you'll have a little you'll have a little cup or something, just right full of chewed up, cut up soft plastics, and but just the randomness. But what's nice is with the trailer is to be able to just back that baby in the water, drag your kayak onto it, pull it up out of the water, and then off to the side of the parking lot, and then just kind of regroup yourself. And that's one of the things I love about it, really.
Yeah. No, I wanted to avoid a trailer at all costs. I was one of those people that thought, oh, if I'm gonna have a kayak with a trailer, I'll just get a boat, And sure enough, I didn't buy my trailer. My buddy Fernando gave it to me, and at first I was like, well, I got to learn how to use it now. He gave it to me, so I'll try it out. But after 2 times out, man, that thing was the bee's knees.
Yeah, and like I say, I found one on Marketplace. Actually, I didn't find it on Marketplace. I was on a job, and I asked the homeowner about it, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll sell it to you." And it was he gave $250. And I stripped some stuff off of it, and then I put I forget, I think it's 4-inch PVC I put on there. But for the autopilot, you kind of got to get it just on the right pitch so it rides in on just right, So I got all that dialed in. But man, I'll never go back to. I never car topped, I guess, but I'll never go back to trying to load one into the back of the pickup truck all the time.
No, for sure. No, we're spoiled now. But $250 for a trailer is a steal. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do you think are
actually, that's how much I got mine for. It was $250.
That's how much you pay for yours? Damn, I'm missing out on all these.
And I think I'm delaying. I'm like a little behind, it seems.
You might be.
I think he's lagging.
Uh-oh. But so speaking about budgets, then we're talking about the prices of kayaks. What's entry level anymore? Because I mean that could be defined any which way. Like what would you consider entry level? Like you can't like I would say like maybe $500, but $500 can't get you a whole lot of kayak.
You'd be surprised. I'm actually working on a video right now. I've been doing a lot of research on different kayaks, and you'd be surprised what you can get for right around $500-600. You're not getting a pedal drive kayak. It's going to be paddle only. But Feel Free does make one that is $1,000. That's pedal driven. Now it's not made for an adult, a big dude like you or I. You know what I mean? It's that Feel Free Flash. It's made for more or less children or small adults. But I've been in one, and it's actually a fishable kayak. But it's just a lot of research, man. But I think $500 would be, for a brand new, pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and I would say so. Trevor asked, "Is that for tournament or fun fishing?" It'd have to be fun fishing. I don't know if you could get a whole lot.
Fun fishing.
Yeah, not tournament. No, you can't get a tournament rig for that.
No, I mean you could start with that and really
I mean, you could
Frankenstein it. You could Frankenstein it and make it whatever you want,
Yeah, last year I fished a tournament up in the Poconos with Slay Nation, and you just see all the guys backing up their trailers with their $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 boats. And then after I'm into the water, I'm like setting up my electronics, and I see this dude who's obviously competing with Slay Nation. And my man, he's dragging his Ascend kayak, his sit-in Ascend kayak through the gravel, like from the parking. He didn't park anywhere near, just dragged it the whole way through his rods in and his tackle box, and he was off, like ready to go. And the dude, like, I think he was like top 10 in that tournament. So some people be like that, bro. They they have $200-300 used kayaks, and they just want to fish tournaments and do good.
Now you can definitely do it, and I don't want to jump too far ahead because I know you're going to bring it up a little bit later. But one thing I wouldn't do is go like too cheap to start off, because that's what I did. I got that first kayak. I got the Teton. I think I spent about $300 or $350 on that, because at the time I didn't know if I was going to enjoy kayak fishing or not. So I went pretty cheap, I went about the smallest kayak you could go for somebody my size. You guys probably couldn't even fish out of a Teton right now. And I wish, like I said, we're probably going to go over it a little bit later in the episode here. But one of the things I wish I would have done is just spend a little bit more in the beginning. It got something just a little bit nicer than going bare bones. Because I'm telling you guys, if you guys don't, if you're somebody who's watching and you don't have a kayak yet, I'm telling you, if you enjoy fishing, you're going to love kayak fishing. So I would spend a little bit extra at the start. Don't worry about whether or not you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to enjoy it. I sure did.
Yeah.
You guys did. Just that's one thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go too cheap. I'd get something that's definitely, you know what I'd get? I'd get the cheapest stable kayak I could get, like the cheapest I could get with a nice weight capacity. If you're worried at all about the price.
And I agree. I see that as a people argue that point a lot. Like they don't want to spend so much because what if they don't like it? And I think there's kind of like a point of diminishing returns because I see a bunch of dudes with their autopilots, 120, 136, selling them for $3,000 now, like brand new. You know, maybe they've been in the water 2 or 3 times, but I think that's less a case of spending more for a better kayak and more buying too much kayak for what you are expecting. I mean, like if you're just trying to go fishing and you're car topping, but you buy a freaking autopilot, then you're probably gonna sell that thing after 2 trips. But I agree, like I mean, you said we're gonna talk about it later. Screw it, we'll talk about it now. Like the biggest mistakes when it comes to buying a kayak, I totally agree with you, is not spending enough on that first kayak. Not saving up a little bit more to get maybe that slightly better, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a pedal drive. It could just be a better paddle kayak.
Absolutely. That was my number one mistake. I do love my kayak. I do love the small kayak. I do still use it in some areas, but man, I wish I would have just went, a little bit more expensive, because say I do want to, I'm never going to sell that kayak, but if I did want to sell it, nobody's really looking for a small little lifetime tea time. What am I going to get out of it? $150, $100. So what was I worried about? Like I wish I would have spent, I wish I would have spent about $600-$700 on something a little bit nice to stand up on. I definitely recommend something you could stand up on, even if it's only for a moment, to stretch your back out, even if it's not the most stable thing in the world. I recommend something you could stand on or kneel on, something to just get a little more comfortable, because you're going to want to do it. You might have to, use the restroom, in a bottle, and you're going to want to be able to at least at a bare minimum kneel on that thing. So I wish I would have spent a little bit more money, and also got some kayak with more things I could upgrade, like a better rail system on it where I could put more things on it, stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a good call.
I know Lucas has
been through a couple.
Lucas has been a ton, so he knows a lot more on this topic, probably, on what kind of mistakes you could make.
Am I still muted? No,
I hear you.
No, I've been muting myself a little bit here. I got a little bit of a cough, so I'm trying to remember to mute myself. No, I mean, as far as mistakes go, I mean, there's tons of them you can make, and I think spending too much and then not liking it, or not spending too much, but buying one and you end up not liking it. I've done that 3 times. So that's a big, when people say if you can demo a boat, I mean, even if it means taking a 4-hour drive to a dealership, because there is one in Michigan that does, I think there's 2 dealers that actually have different brands, and you can demo them. Or even if you get online, man, there's Facebook groups. I'm in a couple groups in Michigan that are, kayak bass fishermen, more or less, and some of them are tournament organizations. But if you get a hold of some of them dudes, if you go to these tournament groups and join them, these dudes got the most state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line kayak. So if that's something you're looking for, Old Town, Hobies, Natives, that type of thing. If you go sniffing around in them groups and start asking questions, these guys will let you take it for a spin. I mean, I'd let people take my Old Town if they were lucky, and it's just, that's one thing I wish I would have did. Although my first pedal drive kayak I bought was the Big Fish 108, and I demoed the 103, and I knew the 108 was the big brother, so I'm like, well, I'm going to go with the 108. And I still, to this day, man, it's a bathtub of a kayak, but it's one that I still kind of wish I had because I always said, because it was super stable, dude. I had that thing rigged down. It was like a battleship. Oh yeah, so Michigan Mission said Water Dog on the west side. Yeah, Water Dog Outfitters on the west side of Michigan is one, and then there's another one, Mainstream. I think it's Mainstream Tackle and Outdoors or something. He carries Feel Free and something else and a couple other brands, but and I understand demoing isn't always an option, but if you do a little bit of legwork, which I wish I would have, and there's Facebook groups. I mean, there's dozens of them.
Yeah.
Just ask some questions. And there's Facebook groups local to your town and your city and your geographical area. And they're no different than the rest of us. Most of them are pretty good dudes. And I'm sure if you meet them out on the water one day, they'll let you just hop in the kayak and take it for a spin.
Yeah. I mean, and to that point, I think maybe I'm biased here. I think kayak fishermen are probably like way cooler than like most boat fishermen, and they will let you go into their kayak. I mean, I would if I was out there.
Mhm.
Anytime someone would ask, I wouldn't care, bro. That's to me, it would be dope to have the experience of getting someone into kayak fishing or into the specific kayak I have, because I think my kayak's the bomb.
Yeah. So, and to touch on that, I think I feel the same way about that. And like, if somebody wanted to take mine for a spin, like if that's what they're looking for, yes, get in my kayak. Here's how you run the remote. This is how everything works. Take it for a spin. I'll see you when you get back, because I want people to get, if they're looking, if they have the money to spend and they want to get an Old Town Autopilot, I want them in my kayak and let them take it for a spin. I'm not going to turn them down, and I want them to understand what it's like to be in one. Because, man, when I first got in mine, I was like, wow, so this is what I've been missing. This is what I'm missing out on.
So apparently we are cooler, by the way. Mr. 63B says we are cooler, bro.
Tim Grifka says, doubt it. But I guarantee you he wouldn't let me drive his boat.
Even if you can only get on a kayak for a very short amount of time at the launch. Like one time, Lucas let me get on his Big Fish 108. I mean, I was only on that thing for what, Lucas? Maybe 3-4 minutes, right as we were done for the day. And although it's a very nice kayak, in those 3 or 4 minutes, I could just tell it was not the kayak for me, So any chance you can get to demo, I mean, just take that opportunity. It's worth it.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Like, as far as like talking about going back to the mistakes, I think not demoing, if you're able to. I mean, demoing is really cool, but also I would probably have bought my first kayak used if I could. But also, like, my point of view is speaking right now, where there's like a plethora of like the market's saturated right now for kayaks. But when I bought it in 2021, it was a post-COVID, middle of COVID type of year, and nothing was really available. So I don't know if that was so much the case, but if you're looking into a kayak now, I'd say look used, because you can get 30-40% off at retail with a used kayak that's barely been in the water.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you. That's how I got into the game. When I first started out, it was used canoes that I got off of the marketplace, and it wasn't until I went on a trip with Jay out to South Carolina, and I had a motor, and I thought I was good because I thought I had control, but I was getting blown every which way. And with his pedal drive system, that's what got me to say, all right, I think I want a pedal drive, because I saw him more or less sitting where he wanted to go. Of course, he got shifted a little because of the wind and the wake, but he was right where he wanted to be. So that showed me I wanted a pedal drive to some extent.
Yeah. You almost went Old Town, by the way.
Almost, yeah. I
Almost.
was originally all about
And then he went Hobie.
Yeah, and then I went to a show, saw a Hobie, saw how wide it was, and I was attracted to the width because my biggest fear is falling in the water. So
Yeah. No, I hear that. So Michigan Mission said my first big mistake was buying an uncomfortable cheap PFD. I mean, for sure. A lot of cheap ones out there, and they feel gross.
yeah, I had my mom got me mine because I made a trip to a lake, and me and my wife got pulled over by the water police, and we got cited for not wearing PFDs. So my mom actually purchased my first one, And then I went with like one of those inflatable styles after with the open back, a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
All
I'm
right.
I'm not gonna say I'm not down on. I guess right now would be a good time to buy a used one if you can find one. But again, it's just one of them things, man. You got to really look the thing over. If you're buying a used one, and that's with anything, right? But with the kayak, you're talking about plastic, right? So you just really want. I mean, I hate to be the guy to ask to take it out on the water and make sure it holds water, but you're gonna want to do those little things. But to get a seller to do that, because I've sold a couple boats now. Nobody has ever asked me to take a kayak to the water and try it. All the used ones I've sold, but I mean that's just something I would consider because I mean, granted, holes are easy to fix, but depending on where they're at. But you could have something wrong with the pedal drive that
Yeah.
something might be screwed up in that. And pedal drives, I mean,
It's true.
just to buy a new one is half the cost of the kayak.
No.
And I seen a comment here. I can't pin them, but I was trying to highlight it. It said unless it's an Old Town, buy new, so you can have a lifetime warranty. And that's one thing. That's the other thing that kind of led me towards Old Town was the fact that the customer service, the lifetime warranty, all that, and no, it's 100% 5-star reviews on that. So that was another thing that sold me on that as a kayak brand.
Yeah. Yeah. And for that warranty comment, I mean, it depends on what price you put on a warranty. So I agree. If you can get it new, if the difference is $400 or $500, buy it new because then you have that lifetime warranty on the whole 5-year warranty on a PDL drive if that's what you're getting. But like I got my autopilot for $3,000 loaded with a bunch of stuff, and I mean it retails for $4,500. So that's $4,500 or that's $1,500 discount plus taxes and fees or whatever. So so basically, if I discount the cost of a warranty, I save myself almost $2,000, which I would do it again. But you give it a walk around. At that point, if you already know kind of what you're looking for in a kayak, where the pressure points are, where it's more likely to crack, things like that, I think it's less of a risk.
So the PDL, the Old Town PDL, is $4,500 new.
No, the autopilot 136.
Okay, I was like, holy cow!
No, so
Wow.
the PDL actually, when I bought my PDL 120, it was $2,200 brand new. Right now, I'm pretty sure it's at $2,750 if it hasn't gone up
Okay.
again.
Now
But I
that
haven't
warranty
seen as
for
many
that,
on the market
you
used.
said that's a 5-year just for the pedal drive itself.
Yeah, so if you buy a new Old Town that has a pedal drive, it's a 5-year warranty on the drive.
Just the drive, not the hull.
The hull is a lifetime warranty.
Yeah. See, I wish, like, I mean, me and Jake spoke about this a little bit earlier. If I had to do it again, I might have probably went with the autopilot just because of the price point and the features. Because it's still really big deck and all that compared to the Hobie because of what happened to me. And then even with a brand new hull, like 30 minutes out with the new hull, something super internal, like something like super off happened that can only get fixed by a dealer. So,
Yeah.
and then that warranty only lasts me but so long, right? So if it happens again, then what? So that lifetime warranty, man.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah, it is. It really is everything.
Yeah, I just have to put this comment up because it's
Yeah.
Mr.
Dude, I was
Jackie
laughing
Fishing.
at that. I've been laughing at that. And I've been following that dude on Instagram. I don't even know if he follows me on YouTube. I think he follows me on Instagram, but I've been following him for like ever since because I'm new to the Instagram thing, right? Well, I'm a couple years in now. But he was like one of the first dudes I started following. And then I was watching his YouTubes and he's hilarious. He catches giant bass. He catches I know he catches a lot of pickerel. I want to say he's caught muskie as well, but he's also kind of a comedian. So like I like when his Instagram stories pop up. I'm always watching him
funny,
and getting
bro.
a good laugh. He is,
I got to talk to him a couple times through Messenger. He lives in Syracuse, which is right where my in-laws live. So we're supposed to get together and do some fishing soon here in
Okay.
the summertime.
He literally just followed me within like the last 24 hours. So I was just
Oh,
starting
yeah?
to see seeing a little
Nah,
what y'all talking about.
so he said, I just like seeing other black people fishing in kayaks, which is funny because I feel the same way whenever I see Puerto Rican people or Spanish people, because like, like generally speaking, we don't do this type of stuff.
Yeah,
My buddy Darius, man, my buddy Darius he's a black kid, and he is dude. He puts the beat down on me sometimes too. So I mean, and again, it's I don't see it either way. We're all the same, right? So
yeah.
I'm not about segregation or anything like that. So I mean, whether it's a black dude or a white dude on the kayak, we're all on the same team. I mean, it's the way it should be.
No, for sure, for sure.
I will say I've never felt more accepted by any group of people other than fishermen. As a minority, as somebody who I look black, I'm not, by the way, I'm 100% Puerto Rican. But if you looked at my dad, he would look black. And if you looked at my mom, she would look white. But, within that dynamic, fishing is the only thing that's like, it's weird, man. So I like that. I love that about fishing. And that's why I've been so highly attracted to it too.
Yeah, they don't care. They just want to help you catch fish.
Yeah.
Kayak fishermen, because I would say guys on the boats don't generally. I have not met that many friendly boat fishermen like I have kayak fishermen. So if you're on a boat and you're watching this, I apologize. I mean, you're probably not a jerk, but I've seen my fair share.
I pushed up on them, like, hey, what's going on? And kind of just whatever, I get over, I don't know. I push up on them, see what's up. I try to compliment them too. Like especially if they have a boat that I think is nice, I'll pull up on a bass guy in a fiberglass. They, oh man, that thing is cool. I can't wait to get me one of those. And then I'll be a little surprised. They'll throw me a little comment. Oh, that's cool. Look what you got going on over there and stuff. So, I don't know. Maybe they're just worried we're gonna take their spot or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny because I come from owning a lot of different boats, and I put a video up a couple years ago. I was fishing for walleye on the Saginaw River, and dude, I was in my kayak. It was the walleye opener. So you got to imagine everybody's out there, right? Anybody that's got something with a motor and floats, they were out there. Well, there was also dudes with $100,000 boats out there, and I'm legit right up next to him, jigging, just hammering fish, and I'm getting the most disgusted looks because these dudes are 100,000 in debt, and I'm out here in an $1,800 piece of plastic and just having a ball. And so it's again, I've been down the boat thing, and it's just not for me. Although now, if somebody were to give me a boat and maintain it and pay for it, all the maintenance and everything that goes wrong with it, I would take a boat. But I'm done with all that because I spent more time dealing with warranty issues and everything else, and I actually got to keep it on the water. And for me, storage is a big deal too. I don't have a place to store a boat, and I don't want to store it outside. So a kayak fits right in my garage really nice. And, that's what's best for me.
Yeah, no, I hear that, bro. I keep my kayak outside, and it makes me sad.
But I'm not gonna let the kayak limit me what I can do. Now, my goal this year, and I know I've set this goal the last couple of years, but I want to physically target and land multiple muskie out of the kayak this year. And Lake St. Clair is world renowned, one of the top 3 muskie destinations in the U.S., top 5 maybe. But I fish from the shore. And I know I can access a lot of bodies, a lot of areas of the lake and rivers to target them in my kayak. And that's an ultimate goal for me this year, especially with the autopilot, being able to get in these rivers and just spot lock up and cast around or jig, that type of thing. But
yeah,
that's an ultimate goal of mine this year I mean, I love smallmouthing, but I think my mindset is going to be more or less musky.
no, that's cool, bro. I want to go. My goal is to get some striper off the kayak this year. My buddy Jake Stem's supposed to put us on. So
some striper.
He was just on here. He commented earlier. Yeah. So he put a comment up earlier where
is he the dude that was supposed to put you on the 6-pounders the other day or last week?
Yeah. He did. He put me on a 2.5-pounder, so that's cool.
That's what he has to say.
No, but
I'm still waiting on the pictures. I was like, man, I heard 5-6 pounders. These guys are gonna go pound them.
No, so Juan went out in his John boat because his Hobie's out of commission, and Jake says, how about 2 guys towing a John boat with kayaks on each side? That's because Juan has an aluminum John boat with a 28-pound thrust motor. And we were going probably like 3.5 miles from where we were fishing back to the launch. And this guy is slow, bro, holding us down. So me and Jake both we tie up to him with him in the middle. and we just go. So he got 2 kayaks on either side going faster than he would have been in his little 28-pound thrust motor.
Yo, but I couldn't not get out there with them. And originally the idea was I was gonna get out there with the Hobie and I was gonna have them tow me around, but then I couldn't stand the image of being towed around by some APs. So
You still got towed around.
Yeah, and I ended up getting towed around anyway. Yeah.
But at least it wasn't in your Hobie, so you didn't take a shot to the ego with that one. Yeah. So all right, let's go to the next question. Next fun one. What are the most overrated kayaks? And I want to hear from you guys, everyone watching, the audience too. What's the most overrated kayaks on the market?
I'll say it right off the rip. With my experience, I'll just get it out the way so we don't have to elongate this. Like I said, I love my Hobie, but I got it for 100% the aesthetic. I loved the look about it. I also love the drive system. There was a lot of positives. The space is crazy too, the amount of things I can fit in there. But going through everything I had to go through with the warranty, going through this next situation with a brand new hull, the hype and the price and the warranty, none of those things aligned. If I had
Who
to do
put
it again,
Pro Leaker?
huh?
Who did that? Was Cody, bro. He's the Hobie Pro Leaker 14.
Yeah, that's my yeah, man. I was still smoking you with like 75 pounds of water on that.
You were still. It goes fast for sure. When the drive doesn't explode and when the deck doesn't crack, it's a good kayak, bro. Like it is.
It is when everything's right. It's a great kayak, but
yeah. But I don't know. I just seen too many horror stories recently of bad things going on with Hobie, man. And I feel like the people, like, because even Juan, he's a Hobie guy. He'll say like, "Yo, they're dropping the ball." The people who aren't saying much are the guys, like the people that are sponsored by Hobie, which I get. Like, it's a whole thing, you know. You got to stick to your commitments. But I don't know, man. I think they're losing a lot of ground to other brands. And even Old Town. I love Old Town. I don't think they're overrated at all. But Old Town has a lot of room to grow in bringing features to market, like on their kayaks. So Native killed it with the Titan X. They absolutely, like, they partnering with Greg Blanchard and everybody else that they partnered with. They made a kayak that has all the things that an tournament angler wants. You know, it's not recreational fishing, like it's a tournament angler. Like he all the nooks and crannies, the power link plates, the putting the catch board, all that stuff in there. So I feel like Old Town has a lot of room to grow in that arena. But yeah, I'd agree as far as overrated. I'd probably say Hobie.
I think we're all decided. Yeah, number one answer.
I'm gonna say right now, I feel the most overrated one is Native, because the Titan X, although it looks like a phenomenal kayak, almost $4,000 for a pedal drive kayak just is not. Okay, so, and I understand using Greg Blanchard as your selling point, but I just don't see anybody in the world I live in where I could spend that much. And I know I had put a deposit on it, but then you get through the honeymoon phase, and then the Old Town ended up coming available. But I feel like the more I learn about that kayak, and the more I read about it, the more people have it. There's a lot of things about it that they haven't changed from the original Titan or some of their other models where the floor is just flooded the whole time, which is an issue. I mean, you're in a kayak, things get wet, but I don't want to be standing in my kayak and have water coming into the scupper holes.
Yeah.
But I think it's promoted as a plug and play kayak. But they set it up so you're talking, let's just say it's $4,000. If you want to motorize that kayak, you're looking at another $1,500 minimum. I mean, you could go super cheap with it, but if you're spending that much on a kayak, you're not going to spend that much on them. You're going to go with the nice, whether it's Motor Guide or Minn Kota over the bow motor, or you're going to put. I mean, there's dudes putting an NK 180 or 300 on the stern. There's dudes putting another motor, trolling motor with spot lock up front. There's dudes putting power poles. That I'm going to say right now, I think Hobie, in my opinion, used to be overrated, but I think right now what's taking the cake for me is Native with
That
the
makes
tight
sense.
neck.
And
With
I
the
mean,
tight neck.
That's a very interesting perspective.
yeah, I probably wouldn't have thought Native off the rip, but also like you can't really market anything that's to tournament anglers as plug and play, because I don't think there's any type of layout you can do that's going to be okay with every tournament angler. Because the way we adjust our setups, I mean, we do it from season to season, and that's just us. Imagine, you know what I mean, trying to please thousands of tournament anglers.
So I fished more tournaments last year than I have my entire kayak fishing career. And number one, that pedal drive is in the way, 100% in the way. And Brian, we talked about this before, but the pedal drive, if you're going to be tournament fishing, the pedal drive is going to be in your way. And if you're not, if you're seriously tournament angling and you're really, because for me, your rod gets snagged up under it. And I don't know how the Hobie is, because I know they got the paddle, so it's a little different. But when you're talking a pedal drive, you've got pedal arms, you've got the pedals, you've got the crank, you've got all this going on, and it just takes up space. So when you're like, that's a spot where my neck could go, just sitting there between my legs, or anything could be there rather than the pedal drive, right? So, that's one thing. Sorry, I got distracted there. That's one thing I got, I guess as far as plug and play goes. No, there is no plug and play kayak, but I feel like the Titan was going the right direction, but I just don't like the fact that they have a pedal drive in it.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I mean, but like also now that the only reason you really wanted a pedal drive, if you were like a tournament angler, right, dedicated to it, is because the big ones like the whole BBOS they didn't allow motors. Well, that changed this year. So
Right.
If there's any other trails, and I mean, other people could probably speak better to it. Like Jake's a tournament guy. He goes to derbies. Like he just showed me his schedule the other day. He's got like more than a dozen this year. But if there's any trails that don't allow motors still left, that's going to be gone by the wayside in a year here, because Hobie sets the standard for those. And when I say Hobie, I mean the BOS.
Sorry, I had got distracted there for a second, but no, I'm with you, and I've seen that they're allowing motors this year, which is cool, because although they're joining the Michigan Kayak Trail at the Saginaw Bay tournament, whether they were allowing motors or not, I was fishing the Michigan Kayak Trail one because it's just part of the group that their tournaments I like to fish.
Yeah. Yes. So real quick, speaking about overrated. So Cooler Lid AP 120 asked, "What's everyone's thought on the Old Town EPDL?" I pinned that one because I wanted to talk about that. So that's as far as like new and changing, I guess that's probably like one of the bigger innovations that we got from ICAST last year was that EPDL by Old Town, and there's strong opinions about it either way. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean,
what do I think?
I was
Go
going
ahead,
to
Brian.
I've got aunts and uncles that have the similar thing in the bicycle. They got the electronic assist on the bicycle, and I always thought that was, I just thought that was kind of odd. You're going to have a bicycle, or you're going to have a motorized bike, like a motorcycle or a scooter. So when I saw that coming out for the kayaks, I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, well, just pick one. You're either going to pedal it or just get an electric motor. It's just something when I saw it, I was just wondering, where's the real market for it? Because it's just something I would never get. Now, maybe there is a market, but what is the market? Maybe a slightly older crowd but then why not just get a motor? Why not just get a motor if you're going to have it? Just pick one. That's what just pick one or the other.
Yeah. I hear you, bro. I'm not. All right, you go, Juan, before I drop what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Juan, what do you think about the EPDL?
All right. Well, so I think that the EPDL is a bit of, I think it's just a bit of a play off of what's been happening lately. I think it's just been a popular option to have an EV to some extent. And I think that it's a good idea in the concept form of things, but I think that in reality it's not that great because the runtime on the battery is horrible. So you're not covering a lot of distance. Number one, the fact that you get assist is kind of cool, but it's still just there, kind of. Let's say if you're not using it, kind of just occupying itself, which could be like a potential like something that
Yeah.
gets in your way lines or something like that. I don't know. And then like, not to go back to a Hobie Old Town situation, but one of my reasons that I love mine is I get to keep my drive in when I go and beach myself. I don't have to take my drive out at all, and I can go completely flat. So those are things that already turn me away from that drive system. But the EPDL not being able to have a long life and kind of just being, just reminds me of like a real bad EV vehicle.
Yeah, not. I think that's valid. So one thing Jake and Trevor brought up, it's made for ocean anglers and far traveling anglers, which I get because that was one of my biggest things right off the rip was the fact that they only brought it in the Big Water 132 edition. Which if you have ever been on it or seen it, it's long, but it's more narrow because it's made to cut through through wakes, and it does a really good job at that. But it's not really a platform you're going to stand on like you would the regular autopilot. So that was probably my initial feelings of it's it's a very targeted system for a very targeted type of angler, which is going to be offshore guys. But as far as everything,
that actually does make sense. Because that's what I was saying. Like, what is the market?
But
he answered my question. I mean, now that I think of it that way, yeah, that makes sense, and that's the only way it makes sense.
Yeah, because that's what I first thought of it too. I was like, that's a weird body to use it on or hole to use it on, just the 132 Big Water. But but I do agree that it's really expensive. I mean, when you crawl into $6,000, like that's Hobie PA14, with a 360 drive, like that's that realm. There's nothing else that really pops in stock at 6,000 plus besides that one in Hobie. But if you want a motor, that's not the kayak you're gonna get. Like, I don't know.
No.
I feel I'm kind of like down the middle with it. Like, I wouldn't get it. I don't. It's not. It's marketed to a very specific group of people. It's not market. Like, I don't want it.
I love the concept, but yes, I believe it's for a specific group of people. And there is people that are buying it. As far as the price point, I think a lot of people thought it was a little bit high, but again, you're getting quite a bit in the package. You're getting what Native didn't give you, and it's power and a pedal drive. You're getting a lifetime warranty on the hull. Those type of things. So, I mean, yes, it is an expensive boat for sure. I would not buy it because, again, I'm out of the pedal drive thing. I am keeping one pedal drive for certain bodies of water and taking my kid out with me. But outside of that, I like fun fishing, but I really like the tournament scene. I'm really competitive. So the autopilot's where it's at for me.
Yeah. Same.
But the concept of the EPDL is, and like you said, it's a targeted group, and I'm sure people will continue to buy them. If not, they'll come up with something else.
It'd be cool if they could like integrate some sort of like electrical charging system while it pedals. So while it's displacing power, it's also replacing it in a way so that it could kind of,
put an alternator on it. Yeah, and I think I agree with you. And that's one thing about like the autopilot. I've never run the battery dead, and I've run a Dakota lithium, and I run the that lead time 100 amp hour battery. Never run them dead, so I never really know how much further I can actually go. But one of these times, I'm gonna take just a backup, one of the extra batteries, and just try to run that baby dead. But I don't know that I could completely drain a 100 amp hour battery. I know Brian did one time, but he was cruising around pretty hard, and the draw of the battery was pretty high. But the draw on that autopilot, even at full steam, I've never run in full steam too far. And I had seen a comment here earlier. I think it was where's the guy's name at here? It might have been Mission Fishigan or something. He said something about tournament fishing, having the pedal drive and being able to have instant reverse. And that is nice to have the instant reverse as far as the pedal drive. But with the motor, with an autopilot motor, so for me, if I'm fishing a shoreline, I can set the direction of that kayak. Because I fish from my left. That's just how I am. I fish from my left. So if I want to go this way, I stand up, point the kayak, hit the north feature, set my speed, done. And if I want to stop or back up, it's as simple as pressing a button. But as far as getting too close, if I'm getting too close to something, all I got to do is hit spot lock. And I ain't going nowhere else. Like, if I do get pulled into some weeds, it's going to put me right back to where I was. So, and I know that's a big topic with pedal drives is sorry, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but with the pedal drives and the instant reverse, it is nice, but it's not the end all be all, because to have that instant reverse, you got to, if you're standing and fishing, you got to sit back down and deploy your instant reverse, where I can just do it stood up the whole time.
Yeah. And it depends if you're right. I agree. So, all right. So we talked about overrated. What's the most underrated kayaks out there that you guys been looking at or seeing?
Probably like
So,
a vibe, like a free vibe or something.
Which one? The feel free what?
Like a feel free vibe or something like that.
Like the lure or feel free or the vibe?
I think the vibe, the vibe from Feel Free.
No, they're two different. They're different manufacturers.
Let me look at what I was looking at earlier on my phone, so I can.
What were you saying, Brian? Which one were you picking out?
The Lifetime Teton 100.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Caught many hogs on that one.
You're right though. Like he has. I mean, I wouldn't know what the ratio would be called. The $1 to pound for smallmouth. I mean, Brian would take the championship for that, because you catch some big ones on that little thing.
If you're a light dude, that is actually a good answer, because if you're, I'd say if you're like under, I want to say like under 190, which I am, I'm 170 pounds. If you're in that kind of weight class, it is actually underrated because it tracks rather nice. You can car top that thing, and it has one of the most comfortable seats you can get for like under $350. So if you are a light person like me, or a woman, or a beta male, no, it actually it's a really nice kayak. I know a lot of people that fish on them, lighter guys that fish on them, and they do really well. They slay on them. So if you are, I'd say maybe 190 or less than 200 pounds, that's a great option that no one ever talks about. And those things will go on sale. Like every summer, they go on sale 4 times at Dick's Sporting Goods, and you can pick those things up for like $350. Like, you can't beat it for the seat you get. But then again, most people that watch our channel and Kayak Fishing Dads, we have a lot of people that come from your group, Jay, over at Bearded Dad Fishing, and you had that popular video for bigger guys. So for
big dudes, bro,
for big guys, that will not work. If you're a bigger guy, do not listen to a word I just said.
You'd be looking like Chad Hoover sitting in that Teton.
Bro, yeah. You gotta...
I got to throw a little shade at him, because, man, I was telling Brian this. I'm like, man, whenever I see Chad Hoover in the kayak, it looks like he's one wrong move from capsize and that, whatever. What's he always in? He's in not native.
Now he has that PWR 129.
Yeah. I always laugh, because I'm like, man, I don't know if that's the water line or if that's the edge of his kayak, but either way, it's they're close to each other.
You have to figure out. Yeah, you have to figure out what your body type like is perfect for your body type, because it's like Brian said. I mean, if you're a bigger dude, you stay away from Lifetime. I mean, I was past 300 pounds at one point, and now I'm at below. I'm like 245 right now, but still, I mean, that's still a big dude for getting into a kayak, and with all my gear and everything, I mean, well over 300 pounds in gear, like gear and body and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
You might get away on a Yukon. That would be probably too small. A Yukon would probably be too small for you.
Probably. I mean, I would give one a shot.
Right.
That it was the Vibe Shearwater. That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
was.
yeah. Vibe is
Vibe
good, man. They got a following too.
They also have it's called, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know if it's a Makana 100 or not.
Yeah.
Both of those come in at very similar price points. They both have like a fin drive system, and they just seem like little sleepers as far as equipability. They don't look like it takes too much, and they look like they're ready to go. I mean, for their price points, they're not too crazy. But yeah, you're right. I did have them mixed up.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. I don't know which ones I would consider like the most underrated. I think there's a lot that don't get the publicity that a lot of these other ones get. So I mean, all the big ones when you start, but like Vibe is one of those ones that, and they're probably more known in the paddle realm because they have like the Vibe Yellowfin 100, the Yellowfin 120, like they're really good paddle kayaks. So like, but also like cool thing about, you said the Vibe Shearwater, Juan, like you can upgrade it. You buy it as a paddle kayak and then you upgrade it and you can buy the drive later on.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of them like that. I mean, the Vibe Shearwater is one of them. The new canoe, either the Unlimited or the Frontier, or even that new one, the U10, like they're all upgradable to a drive.
That actually, the new canoe, I think you were talking about that one, and I think that it's like a 10.5 or something like that. That one's a super sleeper because of the width. The front is already reinforced and ready to receive like a XI3 style trolling motor, and then the back is already equipped for the same thing, for like a little reinforced area. So if you just wanted to put a regular trolling motor with like a longer handle, you could do that, or one of those Newport canoe, those Newport, you know what I'm talking about, those Newport
Yeah.
That's little, yeah. Can't think of the little number.
Yeah. And Corey from Bucktail just said Van Hunks is upgradable too. Yeah, they are. So Van Hunks is another one that you don't hear about very often. Their weight, and there's dudes on the Kayak Fishing Dads group that will verify that the weight capacity on that thing is absolutely nuts. Like it's rated for 660 pounds, and
Wow.
they stand by that 100%. Like there's big dudes, 400-pound guys on that thing that just rock it, dude.
Than Hobie.
What's that?
That's 10 pounds heavier than a Hobie.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so it has all the weight capacity on there, and it's less than $1,500, and you can buy the drive for $600 later. And the only difference between this one is that you can get the prop drive or the fin drive. Like Van Hunk sells both of them. So whatever's your flavor, bro, they got it.
$2,100, you're fully equipped.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's pretty dope. And all right, and lastly, so we talk about underrated, overrated. What's the best budget kayaks? And again, budget's open to interpretation. That could be $2,000. That could be $300, Ryan. So what's the best budget kayaks?
I'm gonna go with I think it's called the Pelican Catch. I think that's what it is. It's a 10-footer, and I think it comes in under $1,000. But a good friend of mine, Izzy, brought that, and as his first kayak, I believe it is only a paddle style kayak, but it's very able, like it's very like, so it'll be great for you guys to put you could put like a trolling motor on the back, and then there's this new thing that came out. It's called iBoat or something like that, and it's an attachment that you put onto the trolling motor, and it turns any trolling motor into a spot lock GPS operation.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Is it it's like $600 though, right?
It is like $600. So I think that I think your average hand tiller style 55 thrust goes for maybe $200, maybe $225. So all together you could expect to spend $850 maybe, but you spend $850 in addition to say $2,000, everything fully equipped, even a little small striker on there, and you can have yourself with a small kayak, spot lock on it, all kind of MacGyvered up, but officially, I mean,
that's not bad. I mean, that way you could you could take any budget kayak and throw that essentially similar functionality to a spot lock there.
Turn water into wine.
Essentially.
Now going
Yeah.
to what Juan just said. So one step above that, I have the Pelican. If you've watched my channel, I have the Pelican Catch Power now, and it's only 9 foot 9 inches long. It's a little bit. I can't remember the exact width, but it's pretty wide. I feel very, very stable on that thing, and I think you guys would too. I know Jay, you've you demo some John boats, stuff like that. That's what I would kind of compare it to, is like a John boat. I am very happy with that thing. It doesn't track the best. I will say that. Like I do feel I'm constantly, if I want to go in a straight line for maybe a half a mile, I do feel like I'm constantly having
drifting.
That I almost need to set up something where I can steer it with my hands without reaching back behind me. But for the price point, I think you can get them new for $1,200. I bought mine used for $650, and
wow,
for what you get for the price, I absolutely love it. I mean, that would be my go-to. Like if you're kind of in between, like a big 12-foot kayak, but you also don't want a small 10-foot kayak. That Pelican Catch, it is so short, but I feel very stable on it. I wouldn't stand and fish on it in a lot of wake, but if you're out on a pond, I have no problem standing and fishing on that. I love that thing. That'd be my go-to for a budget. I would still say 1,200 is budget.
that's fair.
Yeah,
1,200 budget. Yeah. So I put a video out about affordable kayaks, and this is sometime last year, and dudes were really beating up on me saying, $1,200-$1,500 wasn't affordable, and I since have realized that there is other options out there, but when you think about it, I mean the cost of kayaks are just going up, and the things. Okay, so the Native Titan plug and play, $4,000 for, and I know Hobies are right up there too, and all that, but it's a lot of money for a pedal drive kayak. They make it set up for everything, but you still gotta. If you want a motor, you're gonna open the wallet again, and then you gotta open the wallet for a battery, and it adds up. So if you're looking for a motor, I would suggest if you're looking for a motorized kayak and you have the money, I would just go with one that comes equipped with it. I know the Newports and the what's the other one? There's Newport, and then there's Torquedo. Yeah, those are becoming extremely popular. The only reason I didn't go that route was because I didn't want to have to deal with potential, because Lake St. Clair, we'll go back to that lake, there's a lot of floating weeds in the summertime, and I felt like not being able to easily access the prop was going to be a pain. So I wasn't there was no way I was buying that motor for a kayak when I'm going through areas there's a lot of topwater weeds. And Brian can attest to that. In the summertime, Lake St. Clair is horrible for floating weeds. Horrible.
Bad.
No.
I'm not saying like mats, like mats of weeds. I'm saying it's just floating around on the surface everywhere.
Yeah, when I got that Catch Power, the first time I took it out, luckily I went with a buddy of ours. We fished with Mike Coleman, because my prop, it got floating weeds in it. It got really messed up. And even though I could stand on that kayak and kind of maneuver, I couldn't really reach the prop to get the weeds out. Now, since then, I've went and got a different prop on it, like a more weedless prop, and it does really work well. If you ever have an opportunity, the weedless props don't cost that much more, and they're completely worth it. Because since I've got that, I've gone over some terrible weeds, and I haven't got it caught up. But yeah. To attest to what Luke is saying, absolutely, Lake St. Clair has some terrible floating weed mats.
I'm going to answer this question. I can't pin it. Anthony Laterno, I think Laterno.
On there
Brian
now.
Lucas, you planning to going to a Kayak Adventure Series event there in Michigan? I don't know. Kayak Adventure Series. I'd have to get more info. I don't know if you're talking about the Michigan Kayak Trail.
No, it's so the Kayak Adventure Series is a brand new a series, and it's spearheaded now by Drew Gregory.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's
is there
doing
is there a social media page or something for it?
Yeah, I think it's just called Kayak Adventure Series, and they're teaming up. They actually got like a bunch of sponsors, and he's a big name dude, so he's got those connections, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But they're going up and down the East Coast. I think the furthest west they're going is up to you guys up there in Michigan, but they do a lot of cool things. Like they're changing the whole kind of dynamic of what the tournament's looking like because it's a family friendly affair. Like they have like activities for the kids and food trucks, and like their second day of tournaments starts in the afternoon so that you can sleep in with the
Oh,
kids
nice.
or go to seminars. Like it's pretty cool actually. Like it's a cool type of format. And they also have, it's not even a side pot. It's just part of the tournament that instead of targeting the 5 biggest fish, you can target the 5 smallest fish.
Oh,
And
nice.
the smallest you can go is 25 inches because they have to be at least 5 inches. But
Now, I would definitely be interested in that. That's the one thing on my kind of kayak fishing bucket list I haven't done yet. I have not done a single kayak tournament. I told Lucas this year I was very interested. I'm gonna try to at least get one of those under my belt because I mean I bought the actual catch board. I got everything I need now. I got some, I got the power. I got the Minn Kota on. I got everything. I don't have the greatest electronics, but I think I have enough. And if it's Lake St. Clair, I know the lake good enough where I think I can compete rather well. And I definitely, if it's going to be on Lake St. Clair, I would definitely like to. If they're going to be out there, I would definitely like to get on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I wish I'm gonna answer this dude's question. It says only concern about the autopilots won't do well in the rivers. Well, if it's a shallow river, no, because you'll be bottomed out. But I can tell you that I have had mine in the Detroit River, and I had zero issues with that kayak. And if you're familiar at all with Detroit River, I mean, the current is chugging. I mean, that is like if you end up outside of the kayak, you're gone. Like, see ya. That's how strong of a current it is there. So,
Jake, that time we went to the river, were you in your AP?
No, I think I was in my PDO.
Okay.
No,
but I would definitely look up that. I'm definitely gonna look that up though. The Kayak Adventure Series, like for sure. That'd be fun, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Anthony. I never heard of it, and I'm going to definitely look into it as well.
Yeah.
They do a live stream every like Monday in the afternoon. I'll hit him up. I'll see if I can get a hold of him and maybe he'll come on the podcast before the event. So, all right. So real quick, my budget kayaks that I was thinking of while you guys were talking, I didn't have one until y'all were talking. So the first one is the Old Town Sportsman 120. So just straight up the 120, no PDL, no motor, nothing. Because I think it's like $1,600, which is that's kind of pricey for a paddle only, but you can buy them used. If you can get one for like $1,000 used, I say that one because you can add a motor on it pretty cheap. And then you have basically the platform of an autopilot at a much lower price point. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then if I had a second one, it'd be the Johnny Boats Bass 100, which is a good cheap option. As far as like out the box ready for like just going fishing, motorized, it's $1,600. Comes with a motor already, stable. It's rated for 400 pounds. I stood on that thing. It's 10 feet long too, so it's really short, like and relatively speaking. But it's super stable and it comes with a motor. It doesn't have all the features obviously you would find in some of the higher end kayaks like the autopilot, Hobies or whatever. But it's for a budget. It's a really good kayak.
It's one of my favorite jokes, actually.
What's that? Oh, yeah. We'll get to the jokes in a second here because I got them all pinned actually. All the ones that I saw.
I have a version where she works as a what is that? I think of it when it comes to me. A security, a door hopper, something like that. I don't know. I can't think of it.
So I'll give you mine real quick on the budget.
Yeah.
It doesn't come with the drive. But I fished out of this platform and I can attest to how stable it is. Like this thing, you ain't flipping it, you ain't sinking it. But it's the Big Fish 120 V2. So there's a Big Fish series, right? There's the pedal driven ones and there's the paddle driven ones. But the Big Fish 120 is it is a 12-foot kayak, 35 inches wide, capacity of 400 pounds in the kayak. So here, it's a 100-pound kayak, so it's heavy. It's a heavy boat, but you can mount a motor to them. There's enough room for batteries and all that type of stuff. But there's some big dudes that fish off them, and for $900, what do we got? 849 or 899 right now. Easy rider seat, so it's adjustable as well. Removable floor. You get like a double tank well. You get a pod mount for your fish finder between your legs there. It comes with it comes ready for the beaver tail rudder type thing. But for a budget, I mean, that's a pretty good boat.
Yeah, and like
for under $1,000.
Yeah, and it's solid. I mean, I saw you and your big fish when we first met. That's what you were fishing off.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean that thing. So I think if you can get a kayak that checks off the big things, you can add the small things yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't take a kayak that has the bells and whistles that's not stable and make it stable. Not in a nice way.
You got to get them.
Yeah, those look hideous, bro. I mean, I get people doing them, and that's fine, but they don't look cool.
No, I mean,
so
but they make them. They make them though.
Like swimming with water wings on. Looks about as cool.
Yeah, dude. I can only imagine those things get in the way of everything, dude. Casting, netting, whatever.
But like somebody said in the comments here, those small things, they add up quick, and they do. Because I remember getting my Hobie and just buying the few accessories that I brought and coming out from the shop with those accessories, and then getting home and then being like, okay, I want a GPS system of some sort. And it was ironic because I had spent so much money on that, but then in certain areas I was finding myself just trying to save money, and there's going to be certain areas and certain aspects where you're not going to want to try to save that money, in the sense of you're going to want to make the right investment and the right choice the first time, because if not, you're going to be replacing it. You're going to be whether it's wiring or whatever, and so those things are costly. So consider that, because I mean now even batteries, right? Those lithiums are super expensive depending on the size you get.
Yeah, for sure. Those I mean, like you said, like John's or was Top Shelf Fishing said, those small things do add up quick. I mean, we know that. So that's true. I mean, Kevin, it just depends how much you want to dish out.
Just want to answer this, Kevin. That was Brian that tipped while he was using the bathroom. Somebody commented on my YouTube, said, at least you won't tip when you're peeing. I'm like, well, must be related to you, Brian, because he's got the same last name, I think.
Could be.
Yeah, sorry, Brian. I was never, I never was gonna put that out there. I wanted to. Every time I talk about like people that should get rod floats because they regret not having rod floats, I think about Brian tipping over when he's peeing and losing his rods.
I got him,
but now. I always leave that part out.
I got him now.
You got him now?
Did you get your rods back?
Never. No, they're on the bottom of Lake St. Clair. I'm sure somebody's got a live scope got them by now.
But you got your GoPro, right?
I did get one got waterlogged, and I had the side open. One got waterlogged and ruined, but one floated away, and somebody on a jet ski found it, and I threw a Facebook group, like not a fishing group, but a Facebook boating group. I did get that back, and I still use it.
That's good.
Yeah,
I wish it would have happened to me.
Man, I was trying to gather everything I could for him too. Like there was stuff floating everywhere. It looked like a like a car accident with car parts everywhere. And I'm like, man, I got my net out and I'm like trying to get everything. And I got like one of his flip flops, a bait bag, and
I felt terrible. Stuff. I felt terrible when I first found out about it. I was like, man,
basically, for anyone who hadn't seen it, I basically tried kneeling on a kayak that you shouldn't kneel on in conditions that no one should kneel on. And I got a little too lax, and next thing you know, I fell in, lost all my stuff. So it's that Teton is a great kayak, but you cannot mess around on it. You got to stay seated. So
we had just found the fish too. Literally, like we were like, he caught two, I caught one, and I'm like, oh man, we're gonna be on him now. And then I just put one back in the water. I look up and Brian's kayak's upside down, and I'm like,
Oh my god, he was
What the hell
on him.
just happened?
He was on him.
I mean, it's funny now, but man, people were stopping and asking if we were okay and stuff, but it was
like Labor Day weekend. I was not. It was not like it was cold or anything like that. We were perfectly fine. So, I mean, and $1,000 worth of gear. I was having a great time. Yeah.
Wow. I ain't gonna lie, that's the one feature that I never purchased was the rod floats, and I felt bad about not having them on 2 occasions. One was where my friend ended up capsizing, and thankfully he capsized in like 2-3 foot of water on some edge in my canoe, and it took on so much water that thankfully, if he was deeper, he would have sunk the canoe, and thankfully that didn't happen. But right before that happened, he lost my rod. So that was one instance where I said, I really wish I had those rod floats. And then one other instance, I was out fishing a reservoir. It was just real dark. I take a cast and my hands were wet because I just caught a fish, and the rod slips out my hands and goes right into the water. And thankfully, with like the last bit of light left, somehow, some way, I ended up fishing it out and I got it back. But those are the 2 instances where I said, Jay's going to be like, well, that's why you should have rod floats on your rods because, yeah. And it was my most expensive rod at the time, too. So,
and you go out with like 10 rods, so you probably should get that.
Wow.
But,
me, I think I'm a pro.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Edwin wants opinions on native Titan X. I personally can't give one other than a third-party opinion because I've never been on one. But I mean, they look like a pretty wide, solid, stable boat. I'm not a pedal drive guy, so it's not for me. But if you're into having a pedal drive and maybe a stern mount and a bow mount and a bunch of cool little gadgets like that, yeah. But keep in mind that's going to get pretty expensive.
Yeah. It looks cool. I like it. If I didn't have the autopilot, I would definitely be interested in it. There's a couple, even as an autopilit owner, that I really like what I have.
Dude, that foot control steering, the foot control steering is it's so awesome to be able to just steer your kayak with your feet. Like, I'm gonna go left a little bit.
Yeah. There's two kayaks I would consider outside of the autopilot world, and that would be the New Canoe Unlimited, and the other one would be the Native Titan X. So, I mean, that's the only opinion I can give since I haven't been on it, but I would definitely consider it as a kayak that's worth trying out at the very least. So, but we're running out of time here, guys. So before we get off, though, I did ask for dad jokes earlier. So in the future, we're going to call this segment Funny or Crummy, okay? And that's adequate for dad jokes. All right, so first dad joke by Sly Fox Fishing. He said, what do you call a fish that owns a bank? A loan shark.
That's a good one.
All right.
You can check the funny box on that. My kid would think that's funny.
All right, and then Anthony says, why did the spider go to the computer? To check his website.
That's a good one.
Very good.
I mean,
all right,
that is good.
These are all on videos from Jay. I can see these all on his future videos.
Dude, I'm not ashamed of stealing some of these. All right, so Jason says, saw a one-legged man standing at the ATM for a while. I guess he was just checking his balance. That's a good one. All right, that gets the funny box for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember the one-legged thing now. It was go ahead, right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, right here. So John says, I know this one-legged waitress. Her name is Eileen, and she works at IHOP.
Another variation of that where I start off saying that she sometimes works nighttime security as a bouncer.
As a bouncer? Wow. Those are good ones, man.
DTF has a very important question. You got more jokes to hit?
No, it was just those.
Okay.
All right. Any tips on how to buy a loaded kayak and not get murdered by your wife? Asking for a friend.
No, there's absolutely a way to do it. That'll answer your question.
So the best way to do it. I always say is try to get two, one for you and one for her, and then just start the
Expensive,
upgrades
though.
kind of slow. But other than that, yeah, that's the only advice I got.
Or pay for everything in cash.
So I won't give it. I won't give his. That's a good one. I won't give his name out. I don't even know if he's watching, but I had a guy come and buy my. I sold my Johnny Boats Bass 100. Right, so I had it listed for $1,100, and he wrote me on Facebook Marketplace, and he said, "Yo, man, would you take 1,000?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take 1,000." He was like, "All right, cool. Next question is, I'm gonna delete these messages and ask you if you'll take 500 so I can show my wife. Can you say yes and I'll show up with $1,000?" That's serious. So I
No,
told him, I was like,
that didn't happen.
"No,
That did
dead
not
serious,
happen.
bro."
That's all.
So I
Jay
wrote him. I was
did.
like, as long as you show up with $1,000, bro, I'll say whatever you want me to say.
I did a similar thing with the Pelican Catch Power 100, guys.
Oh no,
That's
no.
so funny. Oh, I gotta try that.
Oh my
I'm saving
god.
some stash and then try that.
You did not do the same. Did you do the same thing? I feel like I might
Trust is very overrated in a relationship, guys.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't recommend any of these tactics, guys.
No.
I will thoroughly advocate for a trusting marriage, and I will leave it at that. Do whatever you will with the rest of those options.
You know I'm playing.
Yeah.
But I did tell him yes, and then he was like, "All right, cool, new message incoming." He deleted everything, and then he hit me back up like we restarted the conversation. So I even threw in the, "Man, I was really hoping to get more for this, but if you come this weekend, I'll sell it for 500."
Oh my god, I'm crying. That was the best thing I've heard all week, man.
Dude,
Yeah, that's great.
It was funny.
Oh my god.
Yo, real quick, Tim Daw says, "Why did the bicycle fall over? It was too tired." Oh, that's a good one.
So I'll say this: there was questions going on in my household when I bought my autopilot because I had 2 kayaks in the garage already, and and then randomly a third one showed up. So
Yikes.
questions had to be answered. But I actually just sold the Feel Free Dorado like a month ago, randomly in the wintertime, because I left it on Marketplace, so that's gone. And I'm keeping the Feel Free lure for my daughter. There's going to be. I don't know if anybody from my channel is still watching or not, but there is going to be, my daughter's going to be featured on my channel a lot more this summer.
That's dope,
because dude, she's going to be a hammer of a fisherman. She's focused. Like when I take her out, and now I got her on a really good kayak, and I'm going to take her and she'll be doing better than me. That's why my wife starts a new job actually tomorrow morning. She's been working at the school, so now she won't have summers off. So me and my kid will be hanging out all summer, and I'm hoping to get her, out to Lake St. Clair at least once or twice, let her scratch that smallie bug. But I'm looking forward to that because I usually just go by myself, right? Because I work a weird shift. I work afternoons, so I'll go fishing in the mornings. A lot of times it's by myself, so it'll be cool to have a partner to go with too.
Yeah.
Throughout the summer.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. No, it's cool that you're getting her involved. I just got my son in my last video that I posted just on the intro. I mean, he's 5, so I can't really do a whole lot with him. But I'm trying to get my kids more involved with. I mean, I am the bearded dad, so it probably makes sense to show people that I have children.
Yeah, you got 3 children.
I got 3 children, man, and they're all. So my oldest is 11, and then I got an 8-year-old daughter, and then my son who's 5. So they'll be. I'm trying to get them more into because they like watching my videos too, which at least someone likes watching them.
Yeah, my oldest is 11, and I'm hosting a birthday party with kids Friday. I took Friday off work, so I'm taking all the kids to the mall shopping, and then we're hanging out. And so that's she's turning 12 on Friday.
Yeah, oh, that's dope.
Making me feel old, dude.
Well,
my kid's 12. Like,
yeah, it's wild.
Time
well,
flies.
we are old. My kids already. Well, my oldest already thinks I'm not cool. So there's that.
Oh, I got a lot of years I'm going to be the coolest for a while and have a 3.5.
Whenever she says I'm corny or something, I'll be like, "Oh, do your friends have 10,000 YouTube subscribers?" Which, you know, that's nothing in the scope of YouTube creators, but all her friends are 11 years old and they're bumps because they don't have 10,000 YouTube subscribers. I'll be petty. I'll be petty with it, bro. I don't care.
Right.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add, man, before we sign off here?
Nope. Other than we'll see y'all in 2 more weeks.
Yeah, yo. So on that note, I do want to say our next show is March 3rd, which is Sunday again, 8 p.m. So make sure you guys write this down. We have Trevor Lowe from Omnia Fishing coming on the show. So he'll be joining us and we'll be talking reels. So fishing reels, how to choose the right reel for your setup, when to change it up. You know, a lot of guys have questions on reels, and I'm not talking Instagram reels. I'm talking about fishing reels. So he's coming on. He's actually a tournament angler, and I believe he's the marketing director for Omnia Fishing. So we're gonna have him on the next episode here, March 3rd. So if you guys have questions about reels, have questions about anything for Trevor, bring them or shoot it to us, and we'll make sure to ask him when we're prepping for the show. And last thing too, make sure you guys follow us on our socials. So, you know, we got this streaming on several different YouTube channels, Facebook group, all that stuff. So make sure you guys find these guys over there, Michigan Fisherman, Cabin Hooks, The Outdoor Conquest, and myself, Bearded Dad, if you guys don't already follow us. So thanks for joining us. It was fun, guys. Yo, thank you boys again for joining us on the Yak Chat.
Yeah, always a good time.
Guys. Yes, sir. Peace and God bless.
See you guys.
Later, guys.